Corby.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome on Book 101, Mr. Colin. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
So, I'm Colin Corby. I am the founder of Technology Wellbeing Limited and creator of the Digital Detox Coach. I'm also a technologist and an endurance athlete. So, my work focuses on digital well-being and mindset change to help busy people strike that balance between being online and doing what they need to do as biological humans.
Biological humans. I like that, Mr. Cardi. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. And today, let's talk about what is a digital detox and what this requires giving up phones, social media, and computers.
So the first thing to say is we have to be online to live and work in the modern world. So it's not about completely giving up technology or online technology. What it's about is striking that balance between what we need to do to live and work in the modern world and what we need as biological humans. So a digital detox can be as short as just 20 seconds if you're resting your eyes from looking at a screen, or as long as a week in nature and everything in between. The most important digital detoxes, though, are the 10 to 15-minute regular breaks during the day where you go offline and you recover from stress and you take control of your own thinking before you go back online.
Mr. Colin, the term digital detox is everywhere. How do you define it in any world that moves beyond a simple trend and gets to its true purpose?
So, digital well-being and self-care for a lot of people, they don't have time for it. They're so busy at work, so busy with their families, they don't have time for it. But we are biological humans, and there are lots of unintended consequences of us sitting down, being online. We don't get enough sleep, we don't move about enough, perhaps our diets aren't as good as they should be, we don't get enough human connection. So there's a lot of unintended consequences. So in order to communicate it, I and because I'm an athlete,
Hmm.
um, what I say is, well, you really ought to think of yourselves as um, professional business athletes and endurance athletes at that. So our careers that we have span many, many years, and you have to consider yourself like an athlete. And if you ask people, do you want to show up at your best at work or with your family, or do you want to just, check the clock ticking away and just show up but not really be there? Most people will say, actually, I go to work to be my best. And so athletes, they know how to balance sleep, nutrition, rest, and they know how to be at their best through training, through regular activities, etc. So I introduced the idea of being a business athlete and say, look, if you want to be your best and you want to be your most productive, then think like a business athlete.
Interesting indeed, Mr. Colin. And is the primary goal of a digital detox to reduce screen time, or is it address the deeper issues like anxiety, comparison, distraction, and lost productivity that our digital habits cause?
It actually addresses probably all of those. So a digital detox, in my way of thinking, is like your digital habit off switch. Now, I liken being online sometimes to being in a sweet shop. Now, I like chocolate. And if I'm in a sweet shop, chances are I'm going to eat some chocolate. So a digital detox is really about getting out the sweet shop, where you're being nudged and prompted to scroll and be distracted. And then you've got time to think. Humans need time to think. What is it? you really want to do. Do you want to be present, fully present with family? Do you want to be your best at work? Do you want to do exercise? Do you want to play the piano? It doesn't matter what it is. Um, Coming out of the sweet shop allows you to think, well, what is it I really want to do? And so digital detox is your digital habit off switch.
Interesting, Mr. Colin. And does the true detox require complete absence or abstinence from devices, or it can be about cultivating a more mindful international relationship with technology?
So I think in order to create a more mindful relationship with technology, you first have to manage when you're online and when you're not online. And one of the reasons is that the environments that we're in often trigger our actions. So we've all grown up with our smartphones, scrolling every day for years. And all of those things, all those habits are on our autopilot and they're triggered by the environment of being online. So when you take a digital detox, you take a break. And the best thing to do is you go to an environment where those triggers don't exist. Now, there can be a different room in your apartment. It could be the water cooler or the kitchen at work. It could even be a time barrier where you agree that with your friends, you don't have mobile phones when you're having a meal and those sorts of things. But you need to have that ability to come offline in order to be able to reflect on what you really want to do. And then when you go back online, you're in a better position to plan what it is you're going to do. But our digital smartphones are incredible tools. They can do amazing things, but we can entertain ourselves to death if we want to. And so you have to have that pre-planning associated with it. And there's an extra problem with the prevalence of AI. That's an added interesting thing. So I'm even suggesting that when you're online, you should start planning AI detoxes. So whilst you're using your online technology, you have an AI detox. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we outsource our knowledge and skills to our technology. And we've done this, since we've invented technology. But with AI, we're outsourcing our thinking as well. And so if we don't do things ourselves and practice doing things ourselves, then we won't have that knowledge and skills within us to be able to use for creative thinking, problem solving, or anything else. So in the age of AI, I'm actually advocating that when you are online, you should think about AI detox now rather than leave it too late.
AI detox too, on the need and the symptoms. Mr. Colin, what are the key signs or symptoms that suggest someone might genuinely benefit from digital detox?
So the way that I normally phrase it is we all know somebody. We all know somebody who gets anxious when they don't have their phone with them, that they respond immediately to every notification that they get, that they go to do one thing on their phone. So we're in the UK, we check the weather. So you go to check the weather, but you actually end up scrolling, doom scrolling, and you actually forget what it was you originally went on to do on your smartphone. We take our phones, we pick them up first thing in the morning and we put them down last thing at night. So any of those symptoms are a reflection of, perhaps the balance is wrong. Perhaps our digital habits are controlling us instead of us controlling the amazing tool that is our smartphone.
Mr. Colin, what is actually happening to our brains and our nervous system with constant digital simulations that makes a reset necessary?
So if you imagine you're in a room and you've got lots and lots of people, and they're all shouting at you different commands, wanting your attention all the time. And you're being bombarded with all this external stimulation. If you're in that environment for a long time, then it creates stress. It creates stress, and the stress builds up. There was a lovely research done by Microsoft, and they were looking at back-to-back video calls. And they found that if you end up doing back-to-back meetings and video calls, what happened was the stress just carried on building up during the day, and you took that home with you. So the recommendation that Microsoft had was to actually have 10-minute breaks. And they even included the feature in Outlook to allow people to do that, because just a 10 to 15-minute break allows you to go sort of reconnect with your own body and think and reduce the buildup of stress. The other thing, of course, is if we can't possibly take on or see or process all the information that's out there, we can't possibly respond to everything that is sent to us. It's impossible. It's too much. So what we have to do is have a more mindful and balanced approach to what's important and what's not important. Most of the stuff that we see is of no importance or productivity value at all. So it's all about balance. So I come back to being an athlete. As an athlete, you're focused on what it is that you want to do. And that's the most important thing. What is it you want to do? What skills do you need? What do you need to learn? What do you want to do? Who are the people that you want to really be present with?
Mr. Colin, how do social media platforms specifically engineer a sense of lack, insecurity, and endless comparison that a detox can help break?
So it's been well researched that social media is a great platform for promoting the best bits of someone's life. And so comparison, if anyone was to compare their life, which comprises of mundane things that don't go so well, things that go so well, with just the best bits, then it seems that we're not living the life that we should. And for some people, and particularly young people, that causes a lot of distress.
Hmm. Well, lots of distress for sure. And what does a digital detox look like in a practice? Does it range from deleting social apps or weekend to a full retreat without any screens?
So everybody's circumstances is going to be slightly different. But the easiest, I created a number of digital detox challenges to help people. One of the most important things is we should protect our sleep. So a digital detox means you don't look at your phone for the first 30 minutes to an hour in the morning. And similarly at night, you put your phone down before you go to sleep, because sleep for humans is incredibly important. And I think virtually all other animals have to sleep as well. So that's one aspect of a digital detox. The other aspect is we've got in the habit, our cultures have got in the habit of not being fully present with the people we're with. So we might be the most connected humans ever in history, but there's loneliness epidemics particularly in the US, and the US Surgeon General reported on that. So the other part of a digital detox is when you're with your friends or family, why not put your phone down and be fully present and listen and have human connections? Online connections are great, but they're not a replacement for human connections, which we need as social animals. Then boundaries. Create lots of boundaries. So, when is it I'm going to use my incredible smartphone tool? And when am I going to focus on doing something else? Or if I'm on my laptop and I need to do a particular job, then let's focus on one thing at a time. The human brain can't actually multitask. uh, but it fools us because it can switch tasks very quickly. But multitasking causes stress and it causes us to be less productive in the long run. So, for those things that you really need to do, then do one thing at a time. And then, as I've said before, plan lots of 10 to 15-minute breaks. But for some people, having one day the weekend, if you're not working at the weekend, have one day or a half a day where you say, you know what, I don't need my phone. You know, so it is different for everybody. But that's the sort of shape of digital detox.
Mr. Collins, as a digital detox coach, what are your short term and long term goals?
So I want to encourage people to take control. So there are loads of things in the world we can't control. A lot of people feel that when they're online, they've lost control, and that lack of control can cause a lot of stress as well. So I'm encouraging people that actually technology is just a tool. If some people think the smartphone is an extension of them, but it's not really. It's an extension of the global technology companies, whether it's in the US or China or elsewhere. So you can take control, and taking control means stepping back. Now, humans generally have two types of thinking: reactive autopilot thinking, which occupies an amazing amount of our time. And then there's the deeper thinking where we need more time. We need more time for empathy, for processing emotions, to solving problems. If we're online all the time, we end up just doing what Daniel Kahneman said was type 1 thinking and less of the type 2 thinking.
Mr. Colin, good luck to your goals and looking forward for more success. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
So I started off as an athlete. I was amazed that I could do so much more by the way I thought and talked to myself. But the first book that really caught my imagination on behavioral psychology was Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. And that's 2012 edition. And that just showed us how irrational us humans are, which was fantastic. There's also a lovely book, because I'm interested in technology and AI, and is AI ever going to be conscious? There's a lovely book by Anne Hill Seth called Being You, A New Science of Consciousness. And it discusses that whole area in a very readable fashion. And that inspired my TEDx talk a couple of years ago. And then more recently, there's a lovely book called The Balanced Brain, and it's the science of mental health. And that was by Camelia Nord. And she's a professional in this field. But what I loved about this is it went into detail about how we learn and prediction errors and how we do that. And the amazing thing about placebos and how they help medical science. So those are the three main ones. There's a lovely book called The Memory Illusion, which really questions whatever we remember and what the function of memory is. And that's by Julia Shaw. But I've read so many books, and I continue to read so many books about this subject because it's always changing. We're always, learning more.
Well, thank you for that recommended books, Mr. Colin. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, my other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well, geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast law 101 and mental health 101 love letters in fourth season, and as well as my movie 101 review and music 101 and science 101 and sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Colin, if you could get everyone to implement just one change to their digital habits today, what have the biggest positive impact?
Taking regular 10 to 15-minute breaks during the day to give yourself time to think and be human again and decide what it is you really want to do.
Mr. Colin Corby, the digital detox coach. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
So, the funny part about being a digital detox coach is I'm going to say visit the website. So, it's
Yes.
the digitaldetoxcoach.com. The TEDx talk, Are We Losing Our Identity to Technology, is well worth a look and is still relevant today in the age of AI.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Colin Kirby because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering coaching to come. So, Mr. Kirby, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
More to come, people. See you soon.